Welcome to NEXTGames video on the HTMB fight, the Moonlight Path, against Fenrir on Very Difficult. I find this fight easier than other Prime Avatar HTMBs on Very Difficult, as Fenrir doesn't really have the ability to take out your trust with his AoEs. The one downside of Fenrir is most of his abilities have a very short readying time, which makes it hard to proc on. So let's start with those procs. Fenrir will start with a large physical damage resistance boost, magical damage resistance boost, range resistance boost, and in spell potency boost. In order to remove these buffs, you need to use the appropriate trigger while Fenrir is readying a spell or ability. If you use an offensive magic spell during this time, the physical resistance boost will be removed. However, it is hard to get a knee off in time unless you catch him casting impact, so I normally don't bother trying to proc this and hope the trust will proc it for me. If the resistance boost is up, your weapon skills will normally only do 2,000 to 4,000 damage. Now if you use a pet ability during the time, you will remove his magical resistance, so we won't be removing this at any point during this fight since we don't have any pet abilities to use. If we use an ability during this time, it will remove his ranged resistance, so of course that would help with our DAC and damage a little bit, but really not help much overall. Lastly, if we use a weapon skill during this time, it will remove his end spell potency boost, which can help in case he catches you without shadows. I normally don't really bother with procs on this one, and just focus on getting damage in, keeping shadows, and Megawari up. A Fudo Masamune, in main or offhand, is useful in this fight for the extra hit points it gives, as some of the Fenrir's abilities can do upwards of 2,000 damage to you. For Trust, we are using Ulmia and Joachim for marches, Koru for haste, and Yoran Oran and Monburo for cures. You definitely have a little bit of liberty when it comes to your trust in this one, so if you want to go ahead and add Chantoto 2 or another Black Mage to try and make it so that you proc yellow more often and therefore have the physical resistance off of him more often, then that's another way to go as well. Now let's quickly go over the abilities you will see Fenrir use. Moonlit Charge is an ability that is blocked by a single shadow. Meanwhile, if it does hit you, it's going to bind you. Crescent Fang is also blocked by a single shadow, and if that actually does end up hitting you, it's going to paralyze you. Now Eclipse Bite is blocked by 3 shadows, and it can hit for upwards of 1,500 damage if your shadows are down, so be careful. Now these next 3 are easily his most dangerous. Lunar Bay, which is a single target damage ability that wipes shadows and inflicts 1,000 to 1,500 damage. Howling Moon, which is an AoE damage ability that will hit for 1,800 to 1,300 damage and will reset all of his resistances. Lastly, there's Impact, which will do 1,500 damage, ignore your shadows, and give you stat down. There's also Lunar Cry, which will give you accuracy and evasion down that Yoran Oran and Monburo will usually quickly get off. And that's pretty much all you're going to see here. Just keep Megawari up to eat Impact in Lunar Bay, and this should be a really easy fight. Enjoy the run, everyone. And that's going to be it for the Fenrir HTMB video. I hope you found it useful. Stay safe and stay healthy, everyone.